Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in. Once again, you're here with Lola, and as always, if you like this video, click like, subscribe, and share it with the world. Leave me a comment if you agree, disagree, tell me what you think. And today I want to get right into the conversation and just say that I know a lot of people have been really ragging on Tina Knowles for that interview she did. My feed is totally ramped up with her. I really think we have to sit back and really appreciate what's happening. You know, a lot of times women and men, we don't see ourselves until we see ourselves reflected back onto us. And this interview, from when it happened, where it was, the title, the two people involved, the notoriety of them, their social status, all of that, I feel like it was the best. It was what we needed. It's just like Trump. It's the best thing ever happened to a lot of people. We are our best when all we have is each other. Like, and he let us know, all y'all got is each other. Like, we at our best. 60% of all new businesses are us starting new businesses because we like, get that. But, I mean, it was the best thing that ever happened, you know? And I feel like we have to appreciate that. And we have to look at what's really happening. You know, there's so much conversation going around about, you know, what black women do not see themselves doing, but they're still doing nevertheless. And this is causing the causation of what they don't want. You know, like every woman wants to be in a working relationship. You know, for all of us that has our heads screwed on straight, we want a masculine man that we can trust and we can build with. We want that. But we can very much be the very thing that a man like that does not need in his life. So, you know, this is allowing us to see ourselves. And this is, I think, in my opinion, the lesson, you know, of Oshun's mirror, in that it's not just a mirror to show you how beautiful you are. It's also the very means in which you see yourself, the truth of yourself. Like, because the mirror isn't you. You see what I'm saying? But the only way you can see you is through something that reflects it back. And I seen myself when I seen Tina Knowles. I seen some of the mistakes that I made in the past. I seen some of the mistakes that I may even make in the future. So now it allows me to be more cognizant of my own actions in my community, dealing with my men. And I understand that men are not perfect. I'm not perfect, but I'm enjoying the ride here when it comes to understanding black men, understanding how they operate, understanding how to, you know, get to know them better, to understand, you know, this whole thing of us coming back together, back to the middle, you know, because we have been so separated. It's a journey, you know, and I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the talk, although I don't appreciate everyone in their feelings, but I do. I really do. Yeah. Now, honestly, like I said, we owe our men an apology, because it's been so many times that women have done things with the right intention and destroyed the very thing they say they love, you know. And one thing I want to say is this: as much as people may say, you know, women are just as strong as men, this, that, and that, we are not. And I've said that before. We are not just as strong as men. But the only way we can really hurt men is through our mouthpiece. Because this is where we have the advantage over them when it comes to striking their ego, striking their manhood, their pride. That's it. And we will kill it if we need to. And that right there is not what we want in our own men. Like, I might want to strike the pride of a man I don't know that might have said something to me that I don't like, but my own man? No, I need to build. I want him built up. I don't want him struck down. You know, I don't want that. But this is what we're doing. And I'll use myself as an example, right? I said something to a gentleman one time, a black man, that was pretty harsh, and I did it publicly. And I felt like I was correct in the moment, because I felt like it was coming from a pure place. I wasn't lying. It was true. You know, I could factually prove it. But the way I came off, there was so many ways I could have said that differently, and actually, you know, said it like an adult, not like an angry child. It was, and the situation kind of got out of hand, and it got out of hand really because I came into it wrong. And once I realized I was indeed the only one wrong in the room, despite what was going on with him, you know, life is life, but the way I come off is on me. So I felt it was necessary for me to publicly apologize, just like I publicly said what I said, because in retrospect, it's like if he was to say something similar back to me, my feelings would be hurt, you know, and I'm a woman, so I mean, yeah, you know, we're supposed to be that aspect of, you know, reality that brings, you know, softness, that brings humility, that brings, you know, kindness. You know, if it wasn't for women, the world would be a different place, you know. So it's like, if when we're outside of that sphere, outside of that femininity, we're only bringing the worst of what men have to offer, you know, literally. Like, we're more conniving than they are at their own stuff. So, you know, I publicly apologized, and I'm glad I did, because it allowed me to see how hard it is for me to, you know, humble myself, because that wasn't easy. Like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I should do this. I was, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, what are people going to think about me? Is people going to take me, you know, be, you know, like, you know, pushover or whatever? But I realized it's like, no, I'm not a pushover. I'm just stronger up here, and I know what I need to do when I need to do it, and I don't have a problem with it. So, you know, I went and I publicly apologized to him, you know, and I mean, I took some backlash for that. Yeah, a little embarrassing, but at the end of the day, I put myself in that circumstance. So, you know, I have to really look at Tina Knowles and learn lessons from her. You know, like I tell a lot of people, sometimes we don't really go through things for ourselves. Sometimes we go through it as a sacrifice for the whole, to teach the whole what not to do or what to do, you know. So many lives were saved from watching me in my personal life and not doing what I did. Certain lives were saved. So it's like, you know, kind of keep that in mind, you know. I mean, I know, you know, sometimes there's been this rhetoric around, you know, how black women are protected, and, you know, they don't call each other out, which I did the video the other day about, you know, black men are over criticized and stuff like that. And I did hear that her husband was asked by Oprah, one of Oprah's team people, to say something nice about her, to kind of like, you know, do the PR thing. But I kind of felt like the people's issue isn't with him. No matter what he says about her, until she publicly apologizes for that, he gonna be that perfect man. She's just gonna be that piece of trash. I'm just saying. And keep in mind, when you really sincerely are sorry about something or apologetic, it's not just words, you know. A lot of times we take the notion, like we do in some of these religions, that I can do whatever I want as long as I just say I'm sorry, everything will be okay. That's not reality. Like, that's your belief or whatever, but that's not reality. That's not how reality operates. So when we get to a point in which we say I'm sorry, that's just the precursor that contextualizes what needs to be seen and done by us. So we'll go and physically, you know, do something, but then when we say, okay, we're apologizing for it, we now have to be cognizant of that for a reason. Like, if it doesn't really matter to you and stuff, then you're probably going to do it again. But when it matters to you, you won't do it again. I've done things, even in my relationship, that I'm like, okay, when it was brought to my attention, no, don't, you know, like, it struck me, and I'm like, okay, now I'm cognizant of these things, and I'm still working on it, you know, because you guys know I like to talk, so things slip out all the time, but like, I'm still working on it. It's a journey. Remember, it's a journey. You know, but at the end of the day, I'm with my men, and, you know, like Chief, you guys said in my past video, when we were speaking about Black leadership. A movement moves, and the only way that I'm going to move in this movement is if I get on code. And part of getting on code is being able to see the error in what I did and why it affects me the way it affects me, and actually putting some physical action into showing that, hey, I'm trying to move in the right direction, even if it's small. You know, like realizing that your facial expressions say a lot about your relationship, and people read into your facial expressions to see what your relationship is really like. Like a lot of times, you know, when you want to know if a girl is really into you, just look at her from a distance and see how she's looking at you. If a woman looks at a man with contempt and rolling eyes like Tina Knowles, you know there's a lot of issues in that relationship. If every time she looks at him it's like, oh my God, like, you're so smart, oh, I'm so glad to have you. Like, people understand what that really is. You don't have to really say, you know. And one disappointment I had with Tina is that she brought God into it and said she had prayed for the right man for her. And then when he came, she wants to talk about how imperfect he is and don't want to mention how imperfect she is and what she do and the problems with her. One thing I give Beyonce credit for is that I remember in one interview she had said that, you know, she's very messy. You know, and, you know, Jay is very together. And she says that, you know, he basically keeps her, you know, not as messy as she probably could be. And she said, you know, when she comes in, you know, she just throws everything. And as a woman, I mean, that's not something to be so proud of. But she made it clear, you know, because of him, you know, there's that balance there, you know. And she didn't say he's perfect. You know, everyone knows he's not perfect, but she made it clear that their relationship is balanced no matter how imperfect he is, which is something her mother should have done, in that, you know, we all know he's not perfect, but you just said you prayed to God for the perfect man for you. So the perfect man came for you. He is perfect. And the fact that he didn't check her right in the moment, because that's what, like, sir, he is perfect. I mean that sincerely. First of all, he's 70 and he looks 20 years younger than my dad, and my dad looks hella great for 70. I'm just saying. Yeah, he is perfect. Okay, he got his head on straight. He influential. Like, he's perfect. Okay. She's the one that's really, like, maybe not. I don't know, because water seeks his own love. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna say on the surface he looks perfect. He's probably perfect for her, and she should have left it at that. She should have really left it at that. All the whole, well, what do you mean, like, trying to make sure she check him on stuff and make sure everybody know he ain't, like, that's what I was really disappointed at. Yeah, for real. I mean, nobody should really know how imperfect he is. If he presents himself to the world as a straight up and down guy, whatever the case may be, nobody has to know that he really dirty at the house. Nobody has to know that, you know, he's forgetful. You know, nobody has to know that, oh, well, you know, he doesn't quite do something you like or whatever, like, you know, so he's not perfect. Like, nobody needs to know that, you know. And the fact that, you know, you're talking about black love, I mean, there's a context there. You know, and I think that although she did miss the ball, we still won. You know, we still learned something about black love. So, yeah, it's a win-win situation here. And I think we really need to sit back and kind of, like, you know, take that in. You know, sort of like how we take in that good prana. But has some stuff in there, but we're living because of it. So yeah, we owe our men a big apology, you know, because a lot of times we're saying a lot of stuff that don't make no sense in any functional relationship, and we don't even know it, you know. So it's like, I'm gonna say, I mean, and I don't have to say this, you know, to my dude, because he will check a female for real, like, but most guys are not operating like that. They're very kind, you know. Very kind. They, you know, they like him. He's like, and he's trying to, like, you know, preserve her dignity while at the same time wondering what in the freaking world. But we have to really apologize to our men, and I mean really apologize, like physically, like forget the words. Like, we have to really apologize for how they've been treated by us, you know, just kind of like the nonchalantness we do. So, like, I was watching I was in Planet Fitness and I seen a thing on there with the Black Ink crew, and it was a lady speaking to another guy, and they were talking, and it was kind of serious. And then all of a sudden, she just all of a sudden started like beating on him, and out of reaction, like he kind of moved his hand up, and then people took it like he was trying to hit her, and whether or not he was, at the end of the day, you assault someone, they have a right to defend themselves. If you think you're equal to a man, okay, but we'll see about that. But at the same time, I'm like, listen, you owe Black women an apology for misrepresenting us like that, because we are always summed down to our lowest denominator, which is females like that. So you do not do us no service by enforcing the fact that women are over masculine, by enforcing the fact that we are the lowest type that a man can get with, by enforcing the fact that no matter what echelon that we come from, we always that hood chick that don't know how to act. Okay, Miss Knowles, Miss Tina. The fact that we were saying Tina Knowles instead of your husband's last name, whole nother issue. But anyway, I found that to be disrespectful too. Sidebar. If you're married, you should not want to go by your old husband's name. I get it, it's business, but at the end of the day, your husband is worth more than that business. We know who you are. Okay, but anyway, at the end of the day, we really have to apologize to our men in a physical fashion, you know. And when I say physical fashion, I mean, like, you know, when you see Black men on the street, understand what they go through when it comes to women approaching them in a masculine way, dealing with them like, forget you, you ain't nothing, and stuff like that. Like, I'm not saying go out there and act like, you know, a white girl or nothing. Even though they might have a better attitude, it's not about being like a white girl. It's about being correct. You know, even if you know you're a bit more masculine than what you're acting, do it anyway. Like, lower your tone, you know, be soft, even if you have to really think about being soft, because you're not really soft. Like, that's what I do. Whenever I come in the presence of a Black man, I instantly have to take it all the way down. A little lower than what I usually do, simply because I know what they face just in this country, in this world, and then what they face probably in their personal lives. It's like, I have to be that better person, not only just in my own relationship, but in my own interactions with, you know, people that I come in contact with. So I make sure that when I'm dealing with a Black man, I am monitoring that, you know, whole thing with me, and I'm keeping it at a certain minimal you know, status, because there's a time and place to be masculine as women, you know, trust me, there is a time and place for that. But, you know, ordering something, you know, asking someone for something, like, you know, it's not a place for that. So, you know, let's just do better. You know, let's use this Tina Knowles situation and just do better. And just be better as women as a result, you know. And a lot of times people would say, well, Lola, you know, you really don't really have that issue. Yes, I do. You know, I've had that issue. You know, with my own public apologies I've had to do because of my own actions when it comes to men and stuff like that. Like, I have that issue. As much as on the surface you think, you know, things may be, like, I'm still cultivated, you know, behind certain things that I'm still learning to do and stuff, you know, behind the scenes and whatnot. But that's what it is. But I hope that this helps the community. And actually, I know that it is helping, but I hope that we don't get caught up in the emotionalism of, you know, people defending Tina Knowles and stuff like that. You know, because like in my video, like I said, the issue isn't really Tina when it comes to respect. It's, you know, her husband. He has to demand that respect. Just like all men, you have to demand that respect. But I am a proponent that not only should a man demand respect in his personal life with anyone that comes into his sphere of awareness, especially when it comes to women and men, but we women have to have a certain level of respect for men just in general. You know, not to say all men deserve the same level of respect, but there has to be a certain level of respect culturally that we cultivate within ourselves, you know, to keep us together, to keep us, you know, at a certain, you know, level, because every race or whatever has their own inherent issues with each other. As much as it may look rice and green from the other side, it's not so green once you get over there. So, you know, let's keep that in mind, and, you know, maybe forgive Tina simply because that ride home is probably more than enough. Okay? She might even lose that relationship. Who knows? But at least we can better foster our relationships as a result, you know? So I'm not going to keep you guys. I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to finish eating here. And I will see you guys in the next video. And take care. Peace.